Hey, all you Splinterheads, welcome back. Bronze Dragon here, saying thanks for dropping by. Okay, so we are about more than 24 hours in on Land 1.5 being live, but it's about 24 hours in from whenever I did my initial video, which I dropped yesterday, of me staking out my lands and such. So my main point here was to go in, check out my lands, and see how they're doing with what I staked, and see if I hit my mark as far as being able to produce enough grain and everything to keep everything going. Okay, so a few notes, and I'm going to go over a few things that people have commented on my first video. By the way, thanks for watching that first video. It got a lot of watches for me, not a lot compared to others on YouTube, but thanks for watching. If you didn't watch that initial video, I would suggest you watch that video before you watch this video. It's the immediately last one I did, which was yesterday, and it shows me going over some lessons learned on my initial day staking out my 10 plots of land. Okay, with that said, what I wanted to do is dive in, take a look at what we're at, and where I'm at today after 24 hours, and go over a few things that have come up and people have asked questions and such. So, okay, so we're on the main land page. I'm going to sort by owned here, and we can see my two regions here, and 133 and 114. Now, we'll go ahead and check on this one button up to the right. It's not immediately, doesn't jump out at you, but if you go into production, it will show you, if it loads, it will give you an overview of all your land you have staked. You can see here that I have the two regions we just talked about and all the various information about those regions. The name, how many work sites I have in each, if you have it fully staked out with dark energy, DEC, how much grain per hour, how much research per hour, how much SPS per hour you're making, and when's the last time you harvested. Okay, so, and that compiles it right up here in this box. So I think they did a very good job at laying out this UI. It's just taken a little bit to get used to how to use it correctly. But that's, that's the same thing with anything, right? So what I want to do is I want to go ahead and go into Tosterington, my first one. You can see here that I have 4 plots staked out here, and I have them with max level characters or max level cards on each one. Now, they're not the best, but at the time whenever I was making my decisions on cards, they were pretty efficient as far as production points go. Now, each one, I've kind of got an average of about 10,000 production points. It does stray down to like 8,500 or 9,000, and then on the top end it goes up to like 12,500 or something like that. And you can see that the capacity is filling up, and you do want to claim at least once every 7 days. Now, another question came up, and I believe Gathering the Magic threw this question on my video, and he also talked about it on his video that he did yesterday whenever he staked his land out. But the main question here, and this deals with, and I'm mentioning it here because I just talked about how often you want to claim. I wanted to bring this up because a lot of people were asking about it, and I had to dig around to get the precise answer on it. Okay, so the question is, and it relates to how often you should claim to get your best chance at getting totem fragments. Now, if you didn't know, whenever you claim, on top of getting whatever you harvest, your grain, your research, your SPS, and paying your grain to harvest that, on top of that you have a chance at getting totem fragments. Now, the question resolved around, is it better to claim once per hour, or are you giving up anything if you claim less than that? Say like what I'm doing every 24 hours, right? And I had to dig around, but I did find the correct answer, and this is the answer straight from FARP. And I'll just read it for what he says, because he says it directly. Depends on how the RNG gods treat you. More claims equal more rolls, more chances. Less claims equal higher chances when you do claim. However, auto harvests have no totem rolls. So remember this, going back to my statement on you want to claim at least every 7 days. Otherwise, there will be that auto claim and you do not get a roll for your totems. Okay, so, with that said, we can reference the exact formula This can be found on sport.splinterlands on the Totem Fragments FAQ, and I'll leave a link in the show notes. But the basics here are the chance of finding a totem fragment is 0.0007% per 1,000 base production points per hour. Note, this does not include any bonuses, boosts, okay? And that adds up. So let's just take an example. Say, for instance, you had 10,000 production points on a plot of land. So that's times 10. Now let's go ahead and do 0.0007 times 10 equals 0.007, okay? So that's your chance if you did it on an hourly basis. Now, if you waited 24 hours, then you would have 0.168% chance to go ahead and get that shard, totem fragment, sorry. So we're still talking very low numbers here. Okay, so I just wanted to get that out of the way before I started talking about other things, because this had been talked about a number of times, and it was kind of, and it just depends upon how you feel like. Like, his main point is you can either go with more chances to get that actual totem fragment, or you can wait and get a higher percentage chance to get the totem fragment. So for me, it's probably just going to be based upon just wanting to really do it once per day. Now, if it's showing that people are having a good luck at claiming multiple times per day, then I might change that. But that's how I'm going to go about it. So, okay, let's go ahead and jump back over here. Now, we are here, and there's some numbers I want to look at. Okay, so the first number I want to look at is my surplus deficit. Surplus or deficit. Okay, so right here it's showing that I'm running in a deficit, negative 10,288.27. Now, another question I had that was thrown in the comments of the video from yesterday was somebody that they tried to claim, and they were surprised that they had to pay more than what they made. Well, right up front, and I have some grain, which we will talk about, but it's not currently in the correct region. But right up front, if you're going to get up and rolling and your intent is to be able to be like me, to be self-sufficient and have each region have enough plots to go ahead and harvest grain to cover everything, then this very first day, you're going to end up having to either pay for grain or transfer in some grain from one of the packages you got or something, okay? So what this tells me, the second number I want to look at, and I want to qualify whether my staking was kind of correct. I just wanted to get in the ballpark, and I knew I would probably have to tweak, but the second number I'm looking at is right over here. My production of grain is almost 12,500, 12,491. So this tells me that if I'm running in a deficit of 10,288 and I'm making 12,491 per day, then I'm covered. I'm going to have to come up with this amount today to get started, but thereafter I'm going to once I do my claim, I'll have enough to cover my next claim and so forth. So I like that. That's a good thing. I'm glad that I had scrutinized the numbers. I'm not one of those math whizzes, and I don't do really creative and cool spreadsheets, but I did think I had the numbers relatively close. But I'm happy with this. I would rather be building up a little bit of a surplus of grain, so therefore in the future, if I want to change things around, I have some padding going on as far as the grain goes, but I'm cool with this. So let's go back and let's go and look at my plots in Ravenwood and look at the same type of thing here. I'm running at a deficit of negative 13,384, and I produced a little bit over 20,000. So I'm running in a little bit more of a surplus as far as what I'm making. I'm fine with that for right now. I just want to get up and running and then play around with the cards, and I'll probably rearrange things a little bit, so maybe I can make a little bit of more SBS, or possibly make a little bit more of the research points. And not as much cushion as far as grain building up, but we'll see. I'm fine with this for right now. So let's go ahead. And the other thing I wanted to point out, if you have, sorry about that, kind of akin to yesterday. If you had, when you stake out your land, you have to remember to move your totems into the game, or move them, claim them so you can use them. If you have grain that you got off of a package, a pre-sale package, then you need to move that to the region you want to use it. Now, to do that, I believe you have to go to your items and go into other. This is going to be the first time I did this, so we'll see how it works. So under other items, you'll find grain. You'll see I have 15,000. I'm going to transfer 10,000 of that to myself, and then I am going to go to Tostrington. It would help, I guess I will remember the number after a while, 114. So you want to make sure at this stage that you're transferring it to the correct region. Otherwise, if you don't, then you will have to transport it, and then you're going to pay a tax. So right here, or transportation fee, sorry, which is a form of tax. So we'll see that I'm sending this grain to Tostrington, sending 10,000. There's no transportation fee currently for this one transportation, and we're going to confirm that. And wait. There was another comment on the video yesterday about grain. Keep in mind that currently, if you buy, sell, trade grain with somebody, it's going to have to be pretty much just directly, and you're going to have to rely upon trusting that person. If you didn't have an intermediary, there's a delay in this process, this transaction from the blockchain. Please be patient and do not submit the transaction again. Okay, so we'll just hold on that. Okay, so we're still waiting on that. Let's go ahead and initiate the transfer to my other region to use up this grain, and we will send 5,000 to Ravenwood. See if this one goes through. Okay, so that one went through. I noticed that on the previous transfer, I didn't get a pop-up from the chain. So let's go ahead and try this one again. Okay, this looks better. Okay, it went through. Okay, good. Now we can go back to the actual plots. Let's go ahead and close that out. Go to production. Go into Tostrington. Okay, so now I have 10,000 here, and I'm only running at a deficit of 454. So I will have to buy some grain here to be able to do this harvest. So let's go ahead and add 500. I'll just buy an even 500. Why not? Let's see here, 459. I don't want to cut it close. 500. Okay, so 500 DEC. Let's go ahead and buy. You can also buy with DECB if you happen to have any of that left over. I've used that up, though, on the burn event. Okay, so I have enough to go ahead and claim. Now, I want to go ahead and take this down. And I'm going to take a screenshot because I want to start up a spreadsheet and keep track of what I harvest. So let's go ahead, and now I think I'm set. I have enough grain to go ahead and harvest. So let's go ahead and do it. So this takes you to this screen, and it breaks down each one: grain, research, and SPS. So I'll be claiming 12,714 grain, 73 research, and 7.2 SPS. $14,132. Oh, that's with the bonus. And a total of 1,400 was paid for. Okay, I stopped for a minute to go ahead and get a spreadsheet going. The other way just seemed like it wasn't going to work. So I do want to keep just track of this. Just, have numbers to look at, and I might do something with it in the future. Okay. Now we'll go back to the screen, and we're going to claim the research. And add that. And then back. It's nice that it tells you how much taxes you're paying and everything. Okay, so, and once again, you have to hit the harvest. It would be nice if you claimed and then it just immediately went back to this screen instead of having to click into it again. So let's go ahead and click claim SBS rather. And okay. So that was for Tostrington. Now let's go and do my other region, which is Ravenwood. Okay, so I'm going to run a little bit more of a deficit here and have to pay a little bit more. But once like I said, after today, I won't really have to buy grain. So unless I make some major changes. So I'm running in an 8,566 deficit. So I will have to buy some grain. Let's go ahead and my 8,575. Okay, so we're ready to go ahead and harvest for this as well. So let's go ahead and harvest all. We've got claim grain. I know this is a little bit tedious, but I wanted to run through it in case anybody else wanted to refer to this before they did it for the first time. Let's see here, grain harvested. 22,943. Okay. Let's go ahead, claim research. $55.948. And SPS. $9.522. Okay. Okay, so I mean, everything's pretty straightforward. It's just taken a little bit of time to get used to it. I did have to buy the grain on this very first day to get up and running, but I should be self-sufficient from this point out. And I'll be able to examine the numbers as we go along and see how it goes. I did notice that when I initially staked, my SBS claim was a little bit higher than what it's making now. So as time goes along and more people stake out their lands and start draining, more people are pulling from the SBS pool, then the numbers will fluctuate. And that's going, like I mentioned yesterday, that's going to continue to be the case. People are going to change their lands around. Obviously, a greatest percentage, they're going to set it and then kind of go with it. But there's always going to be people changing things around and doing different things with land, especially after 2.0 comes out, where we might lose SBS. So who knows? But anyway, I mean, that's a look at, how I fared after the first day. And I wanted to get that out there, as well as the little tidbit of knowledge on claiming totem fragments, which will notice that I didn't get any during my claims. It would have popped up a message of some sort. I'm not sure at this point exactly what that looks like, but it is what it is. So with that, hope you enjoyed it. Hope this was worth something for you. With that said, if you like this kind of content, please leave a like and think about subscribing if you want to hear from me again. Otherwise, I hope everyone on your side is happy and healthy, and I will see you on the flip side.